Shalom. Welcome back. We are continuing our directed Hebrew immersion in the book of Exodus today. I believe we're on chapter 29. It's 28 or 20. I think it's chapter 29. And last time we did verse 10 and 11. This time I will review verse 11, and then we'll go and do verses 12 and 13 for our progress. 13 is kind of long, but I'm going to try to keep it at 30 minutes. That is our goal. Perhaps 33 minutes would be a good cutoff time. Adonai Adonenu ma'adir shimcha, ken yehi ratzon b'chayenu. Te'azer na otanu lilmod tov be'erenecha. Lo lanu v'lecha yihyeh kol hakavod. Bi Abba, tishlach na et ruchacha al kol talmidai. V'gam alai. Lo lanu. V'lecha, rak lecha kol hakavod. All right, here we go. So we are going to continue. Let's just do a review of verse 11 real quickly. And since I'm not showing my camera right now, it's already kind of, I'm not feeling well also, so there's a lot of reasons to not show my mug. But let's not distract from the text. I'll scan through it and I'll translate it and briefly explain. So verse 11 will be kind of fast because we did it last week as well, all right? It says, V'shachata et hapar lifnei Adonai petach ohel mo'ed. Okay, so let's read it with our normal method for auditory learning. And by the way, you can learn whichever way you like. Today's class is designed both for auditory learners and for those who have visual learning as their dominant style. So you can look at the screen, you can look at my colors, trying to show you the patterns of the grammar if you like, or you can just listen. You can even close your eyes if you want. Hopefully this will work for both of you, all right? Or you can go through once with one learning style and then watch it again later with another learning style. And just a reminder, if I'm too fast or too slow, you can adjust the playback speed by clicking the gear in the upper right-hand corner, select playback speed, and then adjust what speed you want. The program does a great job at not changing my voice, or it'll just adjust the speed, all right? If you're doing this while we're live, while we're doing the premiere rather, you can slow it down, no problem. The only thing is you can't do it fast unless you're behind. It won't tell you in the future what I'm about to say. All right, Spaceball style, right? I think it was Gary made is it either Gary or Harrison who made the Spaceballs reference one time? All right, so let's read. V'shachat to. So the verb is shachat, shin, chet, tet, which is to ritually slaughter. Originally it meant to slit the neck, right? Shachat, with a a tet at the end. And then shachat to, the to at the end, the tav at the end, reminds us of oto, you. So shachat to means you slaughtered. And then we have a vav consecutive in the beginning, and this one is actually acting as a vav conversive. So instead of you slaughtered, it's going to mean and you shall slaughter. So we change it from perfect, meaning a completed action, which oftentimes means past tense in English, to an imperfect form of the verb with that special vav conversive. So if you're looking at the screen, the vav is in kind of a lime green. That's the color I like to use when the vav is functioning to convert the aspect. You could think of it as changing the time. Ibn Ezra says, think of it as changing the time. So that's fine, even though it's not technically accurate. V'shachat to, and you shall slaughter, et hapar. Et, we don't translate the aleph and the tav. Hap, that's the par. Pe, resh, bo. V'shachata et hapar, and you shall slaughter the bull. Lifnei Adonai. Lifnei Adonai. And I didn't colorize, I probably should have, oh well. The lamed is the inseparable preposition. And the word is panim, which is face. It's actually a plural, faces. This word only exists in the plural form in Hebrew. English does this too. We have some words that only exist in singular, some that only exist in plural. Right? The example that I usually use is deer, like the animal. you say, I saw a deer the other day. And if you saw 5, we say, I saw 5 deer the other day. You shouldn't say 5 deers. Or 2 deer. We don't say 2 deers. It just doesn't change. Hebrew's got a few words like this. This is one of them. Panim and chayim and mayim and shemayim. Those are some of the words that only exist in a plural or dual form. Panim, face. Chayim, life. Shemayim, sky, or the heavens, right? It's in a dual, I think, because you've got the daytime sky and the nighttime sky. And then mayim, which is water. V'shachat to et hapar. So you shall slaughter the bull lifnei, before, literally to the face of. It's a construct chain here, so maybe I should have marked it with a teal box if you're doing the visual learning. Lifnei Adonai, literally to the face of Hashem, the name, before Hashem, or before the Lord. You can say the Lord if you like. All right, continuing on. Petach ohel mo'ed. Petach ohel mo'ed. So I have a gray box, if you're looking, around ohel mo'ed, tent of mo'ed, of meeting, because that's really kind of become, even though it's not a proper noun, it functions like a proper noun. When the Torah talks about ohel mo'ed, we know what it's talking about. It's not like some random tent somewhere. So it really is, even though it's technically not a proper noun, those two words together, they often function with the feeling like a proper noun because it's definite. It's not any old tent of meeting. It's the tent of meeting, you see? So it's as if it said ohel ha-mo'ed, tent of the meeting, right? So because of that being definite, it's going to allow me to impart the definiteness to the previous word. So petach, which is entrance, like a portal. So I will say the petach, the portal of the ohel, tent of mo'ed, meeting. V'shachata et hapar lifnei Adonai, petach ohel mo'ed, or v'shachata et hapar lifnei Adonai, petach ohel mo'ed. So you shall slaughter the bull before Hashem at the portal of the tent of meeting. All right, verse 12. That was just a review, so that's why that was kind of fast. Verse 12, just to scan it. Velakachta midam, hapar, ונתתה על karnot המזבח באצבעך, ואת כל hadam tishpokh יסוד המזבח. All right, let's pick it apart now. So that's the vav there. If you're just listening, there's a vav. Lakach is the verb. Lamed, kof, or kuf, however you call it. Chet. Lakach is to take. And then it ends with a ta, which means you. So lakach ta is you took, but ve lakach ta means and you will take. So and you shall take midam. Mid, so the mem, the mi is from the word min. We could have said min dam, from blood. Oh, and there's a construct chain I missed there. Hold on. All right, I apologize. The tools within PowerPoint aren't as good as the tools that I use when I marked up the diagram, but you can still see it's a construct chain. So me, or mid rather, the noon assimilated into the dalet. That's why there's 2 dalets there. Mid dam. So from dam, blood of hap, the par, the bull. So the last word is definite. That will make both words definite. So midam is from the dam, from the blood of hap, the par, the bull, from the blood of the bull. So velakachto, so you shall take, or literally, so shall take you, mid, from dam, the blood of hap, the par, the bull. So you shall take, and whenever it says you shall take, or you shall set, or use from the blood of something or from whatever's there, like in a pile. You can also often translate this as some. So, velakachta midam, you shall take some of the blood of the bull, some of the bull's blood. Venatata. Okay, the verb is a little hard to recognize, especially just listening. If you're viewing, you'll see there's a strong dagesh in the tav. Okay, and that means there's two tavs there. So that's because in ancient times, this word was natanta. Natant, natanta, which is you gave. And it's got the full older spelling with a hey at the end, right? So the ta reminds us of ata, and ata usually has a hey at the end. So this is just the more full spelling. So natata is you gave, then natata, and will give you, or set. Natan can mean to set, to place, to give, to like assign. You have to be more flexible than just give. But I like to be hyper literal. I know you guys like that. Then atato. So you shall. I'll be hyper literal. I'll say give for now. Give / set. Al. Ayin lamed. Al upon. And then we have a construct chain. Karnot hamizbei'ach. Karnot. This is the plural of keren. Kof or kuf. Reish nun, which means a horn. It's a feminine word. So if you're watching, instead of just listening, I have pink, hot pink for the plural feminine ending, ot, and I have a note on it on the very bottom. You can see kind of big. Ot is feminine plural, right? So karnot is horns of ham, that's the mizbei'ach, altar. And again, it's a construct chain. You can see the teal rectangle around it, or you can just listen. I said it's a construct chain. So, al, upon, karnot, the horns of hamizbei'ach, the mizbeach, the altar. Velakachta midam hapar, so you shall take some of the bull's blood, ונתתה, and you shall set, and it's kind of implying it, right? We kind of might have expected natativ, if it was being more complete. It would have said, ונתתה, pardon me, ונתתיו, right? We could have said that way. You shall place it upon karnot hamizbei'ach, the horns of the altar. Continuing on, betzba'ekha, betzba'ekha. Okay, there's a beit, which means with, and then the word is aleph, tzadi, beit, ra'ayin. Etzba. So etzba is finger or forefinger of cha, of you, with your forefinger. Betzba'ekha, with forefinger of you. So with your finger. Ve'et kol hadam. Ve'et, so just a normal vav, a conjunction, and aleph tav, we don't translate. Kol hadam, another construct chain. Kol, kaf lamed, all of had, the dam, the blood. Betzba'ekha, and with all of, and pardon me, and with your forefinger. Ve'et kol hadam, and with all of the blood, not with, pardon me, and all of the blood. So it's interesting. The et is indicating the direct object, right? Et is telling us this is the object of a verb. Some verb is going to do something to kol had dam. And the verb is coming up, so it's out of order. Usually we would expect the verb to come first. So there's a specific instruction, don't mess up, right? So the et kol hadam, and all of the blood, tishpokh, tishpokh. The verb is shafach, shin, pei, kaf, shafach, which is to pour or to spill. Pour, to pour, like to pour from a pitcher or something. And the tav at the beginning, that's just where you put the tav for you in the front of an imperfect verb, right? It could have done like we've been doing before. We had so far, today we had veshachat ta, we had velakach ta, and venatat ta, right? This could have said veshafach ta. That would have been the same meaning, but there's no vav, so we have to make it imperfect without changing it from the vav. So it's tishpokh, tishpokh. You shall shafach, you shall shin pei kaf, you shall pour, Okay, that's, what are we pouring? Et kol hadam, that came before it. Okay, so the et kol hadam, and with all of the blood, right? So it's not just midam, not just some of the blood that we had before, that you're putting on the karnot hamizbei'ach with your finger, betzba'ekha. But now it's like the rest of the blood. You could probably even translate. But the rest of the blood, et kol hadam, tishpokh, you shall pour, el, aleph lamed, unto, and another construct chain to finish the verse. Yesod hamizbei'ach. Excuse me, great to have pause. Sorry, I didn't pause it in time. Yesod hamizbei'ach. So el, aleph lamed, unto, or like towards, yesod. So I think some of you might know yesod. There's even a famous class called yesod, the foundation. It means foundation, right? It can also have some other meanings, but let's just go with the most common, foundation. Yod, samech, vav cholim, that's the O, it's the vav as the O, dalet. Yesod, okay? So it's foundation of the mizbei'ach, altar. But you can think of it as the base of the altar, right? El yesod hamizbei'ach, unto the foundation of the altar. Again, it's the foundation because the last word is the. Whenever you have a construct chain, if the last word has a the on it, you try in your translation to put that the on all the words in a chain, even if it's a really big chain, okay? In this case, just two words. All right. So I'm not going to repeat 11 because that was just review, but I am going to repeat 12 for the auditory learners. All right? So here we go. Verse 12, let's go through it again. Velakachta midam hapar. Velakachta, and shall take you, midam, from the dam, from the blood of the par, bull. So, velakachta midam hapar. So you shall take some of the bull's blood, ונתתה, and you shall place, or literally give, and like I said, the text, the Torah, if it wanted to be specific, it could have said, ונתתה, it would have been, ונתתיו, and you shall set it, but it didn't bother to write it, it's implied. This happens quite a lot in poetry, actually, even though this is not poetic. ונתתה, and you shall literally give it, upon, karnot hamizbei'ach. Karnot, from the word keren, like the keren Yeshua, the horn of salvation. So karnot is plural, upon the horns of the mizbei'ach, the altar. Upon the altar's horns. Al karnot hamizbei'ach. How do you put it there? Betzba'ekha. Betzba'ekha. With forefinger of you. With. It's forefinger of of you. With your forefinger. Betzba'ekha. Continuing. Now we're going to get the object of the verb that hasn't been mentioned yet. Coming first. So there's some kind of emphasis. Ve'et kol hadam. But the rest of the blood, tishpokh. You shall shafach. Tishpokh. You shall pour out el, aleph lamed, el, unto yesod hamizbei'ach. Yesod hamizbei'ach, the foundation of the altar. One more time, verse 12. Here we go. With less helps this time. Velakachta midam hapar. Okay, I'll read it more fluidly now. Velakachta midam hapar. ונתתה על karnot hamizbei'ach. ונתת al karnot hamizbei'ach. And you shall pour it upon the horns of the altar. How? באצבעך. באצבעך. With. betzba'ekha, with the itzba'e of cha. One more time, the betzba'ekha. Okay, done with that clause. Ve'et kol hadam. Ve'et kol hadam. Tishpokh. Tishpokh. You shall shafach. Shin pei kaf. Shafach, to pour out, to spill. El, aleph lamed, el, yesod hamizbei'ach. El, yesod hamizbei'ach. Ve'et kol hadam tishpokh el yesod hamizbei'ach. Okay, any comments or questions? How you guys doing? All right, let's continue with verse 13. Continuing on our walkthrough of the book of Exodus. Oh, why don't I can't the previous one? I'll try at least with my cold. So verse 12, one more time too. ולקחת midam hapar ונתתה karnot המזבח באצבעך. So I just realized my microphone had kind of fallen down. I only have the shirt like on top of me like a blanket. I really hope the sound was okay before. I will check it in edit. All right. Took a screenshot so I'd know when to investigate. Continuing on. Et kol hadam tishpokh el yesod hamizbei'ach. Oh, I really hope it was recording okay before. Oh, Hashem Yachem. All right, verse 13. Velakachto, and shall lakach you, and you shall take et kol hacheilev. Et kol hacheilev. Et, we don't translate. Construct chain, kol, all of the hacheilev, all of the fat. And hacheilev, chet lamed beit, tends to be the fat which is not kosher. That is, when we talk about hacheilev, this is not the fat that is kind of marbled in the muscle or something like that. That's permitted, right? Or sometimes on a muscle or whatever. There's on the outside of a muscle. This is the fat specifically which covers the organs, kind of gives some kind of protection from the heat, from the elements to the organs, okay? That is what is belonging to Hashem. So velakachto, and shall take you et kol hacheilev. All kol, all of the cheilev, all of the chet lamed beit, the fat. If someone wants to volunteer, maybe there's a specific word in English for the kind of fat that covers the organs. Hamkhaseh. Hamkhaseh. Hey, mem, kaf, sin, samech, hey. From the verb kasa, kaf, samech, hey, which is to cover, right? So that which covers, or is covering, et, aleph tav, hakerev, hey, kof, reish, beit. So kerev, kof, or kuf, reish, beit, it's from the verbal root karav, to approach or to draw near, right? And from that we get hikriv, to present an offering, literally to make it come near. And we get the noun korban, which is an offering. It's something which karavs, which is brought near. But this is a different noun. Kerev, this is a segelet. There's two segols under it, the sound. Kerev. And this means innards. Innards, like guts. Okay? So the fat, the one which is mechaseh, covering, et hakerev, the innards, the kishki in Yiddish. The eight, and, aleph tav, yoteret. Means the, yoteret. Yoteret, yod, tav, resh, tav. Now the root of this word, it's from yatar, which is to remain, right? To remain. Or it can sometimes mean like the best part. This is where Moses's, well, it depends. If you believe the Midrash, his second father-in-law, if we just go straight with Torah, his first father-in-law, Jethro, right? That's his name. It's from this word, Yether. So his name was actually Yithro, which is like his best part, right? So kind of nice name, not the excess, okay? So, excuse me, this can mean the appendix or some other things, depending on context. The next two words I just scanned ahead, they're going to show us really what it means. So let's just leave it undefined for now, and then you'll see how the context helps us. Hayoteret, so like that extra part. Al, ayin lamed, upon. Hak, the kaved. Kaf, beit, dalit, kaved. Now, kaved, the root is kavad, or kaved, which means to be heavy, to be weighty. And this word is very interesting. We get kavod from it, like glory or honor. And we get the verb kibed, which is to designate as weighty, right? Or to treat as weighty, which is what we have in the fifth commandment in the Aseret HaDebarot. Kibed et avicha ve'et imecha. Honor, like make weighty your father and your mother, which really sheds light on one of the other warnings that says, mikal alecha a'ol. And we usually translate this just as those who curse you, I will curse. But you'll listen, if you listen, there are two different root words here. It does show up that way in another verse. But listen, it's mekalelecha, those who kalal you. Kalal is an antonym to kibed. Kibed is to treat as important, to treat as weighty. And kalal is to make light, like, in other words, to treat like a feather. So the literal translation of mekalalecha or mekalalecha, it's those who make light of you. I will curse. So be very careful. Be very careful, everyone, especially if you're a pastor, someone who tears down our ancestor Jacob Avinu, and you say that he was a usurper or a trickster, or he's trying to, the Bible tells us he's an ish tam, which means he was a perfect man at that time before wrestling with the angels. So please be very careful, because if you are a believer in the God of Israel, you are adopted in, and this is one of your ancestors you're talking about. So, and the commandment to kibed et avicha ve'et imecha, it can also be translated completely accurately as honor your ancestors, right? Whether they be native ancestors or adopted ancestors. So be very careful, yeah? I'll stop there. I don't want to make it too self-serving. Okay, so what is the yoteret now? What is the excess? Which is alapon hakaved. In this case, kaved, it's because it's heavy. It's an organ. It's the heaviest organ, which is the liver. So hayoteret is the lobe alapon hakaved, upon the, or like connected to or with. Al can also mean with the kaved, the heavy part, not meaning the honored part. That would have been derived from the PL form of the verb, but the liver, we call it the heavy. It's just the heavy. Hakaveid, the heavy. Okay, so let's just repeat that part there. So we'll repeat all of it. Velakachta, and you shall take et kol hacheilev, all of the cheilev, all of the fat, the organ fat, hamkhaseh, which is kiseing, which is totally covering, et hakerev, the kof, reish beit, the innards, the guts. Ve'et, and hayoteret, the lobe, with hakaveid, the liver. I'm just thinking the heavy. Ve'et, and shetei hakelayot. Shetei, that's from shtayim, or from shetayim, which means two. We drop the mem, it's a construct chain. So shetei is two of hak, the kelayot. Kelayot means kidneys. And this is where ancient Israelis believed emotions came from the kidneys, right? So this is a nice key to help better understand what Yeshua said is the most important commandment when he says, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And he continues, right? And you shall love Hashem your God with all of your levav, all of your heart. He's not saying with all of your heart in English. That's not really an accurate translation. It's literal, because it can mean the actual heart, meaning the organ, right? The levav. Chat in ancient Egyptian, the actual, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to get distracted. I just noticed we don't have enough time to get into Egyptian. The levav is the mind. If it wanted to say with all of your heart, like we translate in English, it would say bekol, or bechol, with all of kilyotecha, all of your kidneys. Right? That would be if it meant with all of your emotions. Okay? Love the God, Lord your God, with all of your mind is what it's telling us. So those of you here who are here studying biblical Hebrew now, good for you. You are following the beginning of the set of the most important commandments, which is the whole pericope. It goes on to say, all this stuff, right? So I won't get into it now because of time. Okay. Shite hakelayot. Because there's a ha on the second word, the kelayot, the kidneys. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering what the singular form of it is, kidney is kilya. But I don't think we ever have it in this. I'm trying to think, have I ever seen it in the singular? I don't think this word exists in the biblical corpus in the singular. I think we always see it either plural or as a dual form. Okay. Shite, we don't need dual here because it's saying shite. Shite, it's shtayim, two of hak layot. Sorry, I pronounce that more like modern Israeli. It's not shtayim, it's shetayim. Israelis would say shtayim. So shite, two of hak the kelayot, the kidneys. The et and hacheilev, the hacheilev, the fat, asher, that's aleph shin resh, which, remember, asher is the relative pronoun, meaning who or which, not which like, not that kind, but the which is like W-H-I-C-H, not W-I-T-C-H. But it can also mean a couple other W words, when or where, depending on context, okay? So, which, aleihen, aleihen, alei, upon, hen, hey, noon, which is upon them. Literally, upon they. Aleihen, because kidneys are feminine. If you're looking, you can see the note, but when you hear the ot at the end of a word, that's the plural ending for feminine items. Okay, and finishing up, Vehiktato. Oh, and I should have colorized that. Hey, if you're looking, I'm sorry, it's not colorized. That's the thing about doing it beforehand. It just making a pass through, colorizing the things it's possible to. Because basically, I'll set to neon, then I get all the vav conversives. Set to red, I get all the different articles. Set to kind of amber, get all the prepositions, right? Set to, or most of the prepositions. And then I'll set to kind of a different color. You see what I'm saying? So I can sometimes miss something that I would have marked doing it live. So the verbal root is kof or kuf, tet, resh. Okay? And it's a hifil form of this. Hiktal is, well, you might say it as hiktil, is to cause to smoke. Or like, if we had a word like, incense, there's a noun that comes from this ketoret. Ketoret means incense, right? So to cause to incense. Like you're putting a smell or a smoke into the air, okay? So hiktato means you made smoke, okay? Or you made incensey. And then the vav changes it. So the hiktato means and will make smoky you, okay? And you shall make smoke. Hamizbei'ach. Ham, the hey at the beginning is the, mizbeach is altar. It's the thing on which you zavach, which you slaughter or sacrifice. And then the hey at the end is a hey locative. That means direction towards. Hamizbei'ach. So those two going together, the hiktato and shall make smoke you, towards. The hey at the end is towards hamizbei'ach, the altar. Towards the mizbeach. Okay? Hamizbei'cha. The example, it's kind of like ward, W-A-R-D in English, right? So like I can say bayit is house or home, And then baita is towards house, towards home, or homeward, like the two Jews, Simon and Garfunkel, might sing, I want to be baita bound, homeward bound. In this case, it's mizbei'cha bound. It's altar ward bound, okay? So the hiktata, and shall make smoke you hamizbei'cha. The ha is towards ham, the mizbeach, towards the altar. The hiktata hamizbei'cha, and you shall make it incensey or make it smoky towards the altar, like it's going in the direction towards the altar. And I know we're at 36 minutes. I'm sorry. It went a bit long, but 13 turned out to be kind of long. So let's review 13 one more time, and then maybe I'll just read 12 and 13 one last time after that, and we'll be done, okay? I want to make sure the auditory learners are getting their practice in as well. ולקחת את כל החלב, and shall take you all of the hacheilev, all of the fat, which המכסה, covers, et hakerev, the kerev, the innards, ve'et, and היתרת, and the excess or the lobe, al, near or upon, הכבד. One more time. ve'et היתרת al hakaved, which is upon or by the liver. Did I accidentally say kidney? Sometimes my brain's on a little autopilot. Ve'et, and shetei hakhelayot, and shetei, so that's from shetayim, the two of hakelayot, the kidneys. Ve'et, and hacheilev, the fat, asher, which is aleihen, or aleihen, upon them. The feminine form for them is hen. Just think of mother hen. She's a feminine, right? V'hiktarta hamizbei'ach. V'hiktarta hamizbei'ach. And you shall cause to smoke. Again, it's shortened. We're understanding it's them, right? So it could have said v'hiktartan, right? But instead it's not. V'hiktarta, and you shall cause to smoke. Hamizbei'ach, the altar word, so towards the altar. All right, now I'm just going to read 12 and 13, and I'm not going to translate, and then we'll be done, okay? ולקחת midam hapar, ונתתה על karnot המזבח, באצבעך, ואת כל hadam, tishpokh, or tishpokh, el yesod hamizbeach. Verse 13. ולקחת את כל החלב, המכסה את הקרב, ואת היתרת על הכבד, ואת שתי הכליות, ואת החלב, אשר עליהן, והכתרת המזבח. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much to those of you who are providing support for what we do here. I really appreciate it. May God bless you many times over. And those of you who can't support or just don't want to also, that's fine. May Adonai bless you as well. And may all of you have tremendous growth with your biblical Hebrew. Please let me know how your growing is going. No joke, I hear several times a week from people who have had breakthroughs because of the method we're using here. And that's all kol kavod l'Adonai, all glory to Hashem. I'm really happy to hear it. Please let me know. It really gives me the emotional juice to just kind of keep going with this stuff. All right, guys. Shalom, shalom. I will see you tomorrow as we work through the prophets, the book of 1 Kings. Be well.